for a carb-free, sugar-free brownie. That's incredible. For those of you who don't know, I am low-key doing keto again. I did it a couple of years ago, or many years ago now actually, when I was in school, from grade 11 to grade 12, so about 2 years total, and I lost 45 kilos back then. And I've always yo-yoed with my weight ever since. It wasn't a super affordable dieting option for me back then. It's not the most like realistic way of eating these days. It's not sustainable, and it's not super healthy to sustain. I don't believe. So I just have like moved away from that and like diet culture as a whole for quite some time. But I am in a space where I want to just eat lower carb and higher protein in general, just for health. So today we're gonna make keto brownies. Got some xylitol for sweetener. Just emptied it out into the jar, and then I've got some almond flour and some coconut flour. I like to mix these two, mainly because I like the taste of almond flour, but this one is 150 Rand for a kilo, and this one is 46 Rand for a kilo. So we're gonna mix the two. Now, because we're using sweetener, I'm not gonna use as much. So for example, in like your normal recipe, the recipe says 1 cup of sugar. I'm only gonna do half a cup of sweetener, and that should be more than enough anyways, because the sweetener is a lot sweeter than the sugar. Now keep in mind, just because I'm using like a sugar-free alternative like xylitol, or you know, whatever you have, your stevia, your whatever, it doesn't mean you can just like go nuts and eat like the whole packet or a whole batch of brownies in one day. You know, there's still like almond flour is super high calorie, it's really high in fat. It is low carb, but it's still like, almonds are super calorie dense. So you still need to like keep that in mind. And also sweeteners are full of like additives, and they're also not the best for you. So if you can, just treat it like normal sugar. Like try not to eat a whole batch of brownies just because they feel healthy to you, you know? I'm going to start by melting half a cup of butter, which is about 125 grams of butter. Add some salt, some vanilla essence. I am going to add my cocoa powder directly to my butter, just because if you warm up cocoa, it actually helps it like bloom and release the chocolate flavor. So it's quite nice to like dissolve it in some like hot water, or in this case I'm putting it directly into the hot melted butter, and it gives that a good mix. Okay, so you'll see the cocoa powder and the butter are completely mixed in, and you can already smell the chocolate flavor coming out of there. To the cocoa powder, I'm going to add half a cup of xylitol. So this is a quarter cup. I'm doing 2 of those. 2 eggs straight in. Let's also preheat the oven so long. I'm gonna do it about 150 degrees. I like to bake my goodies low and slow. That's sort of my trick to keeping everything moist. And I really like my like my brownies like really fudgy. I don't like cakey brownies. So I'm going to do them low and slow. Oven is preheating. And I've got a pan lined with some baking paper so long. This is about 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. Into this mixture, I'm going to add a teaspoon of coffee. See, I told you I had decent coffee. I don't just drink Greek coffee in this house. You can also dissolve those granules in a little bit of water before you add them in. I probably should have done that, but here we are. And right into this mixture goes a quarter cup of almond flour, which also acts as a bit of a thickener. And then a quarter cup of almond flour. And then we're just going to fold that in. Now at this point, you can add any like nuts, or if you have dark chocolate, sugar-free chocolate, anything along those lines, feel free to add. You could add a scoop of protein powder if you wanted to this, but I kind of like to rather save the protein powder for like a topping. So I mix protein powder into like some Greek yogurt or double cream plain yogurt, and then just like eat that as like ice cream on top of the brownies. That for me is like mwah. This mixture just goes straight into the pan. And you'll see the batter was quite thin, but the longer the coconut flour sits and absorbs all that moisture, the thicker it's going to get. So I want to try and spread it out into the bottom of this pan before it sets too much. Wow. Yeah. And I am going to add pecan nuts to just half of this tray. Just a couple, because I've already made it with almond flour, so I feel like it's already going to taste pretty like nutty. And that's it. I'm just going to bake this for like 20 minutes-ish, and then we'll come back. The brownies have just come out of the oven. This is what they're looking like. They're nice and soft to the touch. My little trick that I do from here is pop them straight into the freezer so they can kind of like steam and get fudgy and dense, which I like. So I'm going to quickly pop these into the freezer for like 20 minutes, and then we'll try one. Brownies have been in the freezer for about half an hour. They are nice and chilled, and I'm just going to slice them up. Ooh. I like a middle piece. So there we go. See how nice it's on the inside. They obviously will be on the crumblier side because there's no gluten in it. The almond flour and coconut flour is naturally gluten-free, so they won't be like as chewy as like a normal brownie, but that is delicious. It's so yummy. Oh my god, I'm gonna enjoy these.